right, welcome back. Welcome back. It's been a while, but we back at it again. It's the Will and Russ Sports Podcast, episode 25. I'm Russ, aka the Prophet.
And I'm Will, aka Will Stradamus.
All
And
right,
yeah, we're ready, Ace. We're ready.
yeah, let's do it. Man, it's crazy out there right now. You know, it's with this coronavirus thing going on. It's really people are running around in a serious panic right now, and a lot of things are being shut down. The government, all of the sports have been canceled from top level professional all the way down to youth sports. It's really shocking. What's your take on everything that's been going on, Will?
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, Russ, man. I mean, it was snowballing for a while. Um, when I heard cases of it from, the first reported case came out of California, and then next thing you know, it came straight to Maryland, where we're at, and
Right.
in the DMV area, and then and it was like a quick four got infected in Maryland, and then next thing you know, it started snowballing and turning into an avalanche, and
Right.
now everything's being shut down. I mean, the coronavirus has literally gridlocked the United States of America.
Yeah. I mean,
You know what I mean?
today in Maryland, the state of Maryland, all the schools are shut down for the next 3 weeks.
Right, right. That's
Um,
another thing.
yeah.
I just got that message.
Yeah.
So I don't, but you know what though? Honestly, they should do it because it's better to err on the side of caution.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Rather than just
It'd be safe than
play.
sorry. Yeah.
Right. Better be safe than sorry. But I mean, we know. I thought it was ridiculous, Russ, when NCAA talking about they were going to be playing in empty arenas. I thought that was the dumbest
Yeah,
thing
I
I ever
thought
heard.
that was ridiculous too. Yeah, I did
You know what I
too.
mean? I mean, what did they expect to just to turn the TV on, listen to basically a glorified scrimmage? I
Right,
mean, 'cause that's all that is.
right.
You know what I mean? He has squeakers squeaking on the hardwood floors. Who cares about it?
Yeah, right,
That's not, I mean, it's basketball, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's
right.
it's the fans have just as much to do with these sporting events as the
Oh yeah,
players do.
oh yeah. Especially
You know,
college sports, man. The crowd is serious.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out. Oh yeah, they stuck on there for a couple of days saying, we're gonna we're gonna play in empty arenas, and I was like, huh?
and they're trying
You
to
know,
hold on to that money, that television money.
right? But you know what? You know what though, Russ? When the NBA shut down their I guess suspended their season,
Right,
the NCAA had no choice. But honestly,
right.
they had no choice to say, you know what? If the NBA can do it, God darn it, we can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
They have to do it.
Yeah, I
They
mean
forced their
they
hand.
didn't have any choice. Yeah,
Right,
at this point, nobody has any choice really. I mean,
right. And also, Russ, remember initially the NBA was going to play in empty arenas, but when one of their players got diagnosed with it, most notably,
Rudy Gobert.
notably, yeah, Rudy Gobert, and now Donovan Mitchell,
Right,
they were like, you know what, we shutting everything down. Um, I thought it was the correct decision.
right.
You know what I mean? I thought it was an absolute correct decision, and I believe that in the long run, it'll be good for the for the world of sports. I mean, Major League Baseball postponed their opening day, um, canceled all spring training games.
Yeah,
Hockey's done the same thing.
everything. Yeah, all the
Yeah.
sports. Yeah, XFL was the last one, but they've already shut down too. They shut down
Right,
also.
right, right.
Yeah,
Honestly, I'm sorry for the XFL man because those guys, they're and honestly, Russ, the XFL was trying to sort of reinvent and invent itself, and it was working, in my opinion.
oh yeah,
The product,
it was getting a lot of attention.
yeah, the product on the field was a lot better than it was last time around,
Definitely, definitely.
And so yeah, I mean I mean, hey Russ, can you imagine all the lost revenue from all this stuff?
Oh yeah, and I mean the stock markets right now are it's in shambles. I mean everything is
Absolutely.
you know everything is down, it's low, everything. Everything is
Everything.
plummeting right now.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's just I hate the fact that we're gonna be basically without sports for about a month at least. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I understand.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I
absolutely.
hmm
I mean, we
So
just gotta hope it doesn't get any worse. They start shutting when they shutting down like supermarkets and stuff like that.
right.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
because how could that
Yeah.
not be a threat? When
Yeah.
there's food, there's all kinds of stuff, and
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
crowd of people. I mean, there's always a crowd of people. So
Exactly. And you're right. You're absolutely right about that. I mean, it's actually kind of scary now that you think about it. It's like, wait a
right,
minute now.
right,
Like if you start shutting down grocery stores, I mean, you're gonna, wow, it's gonna be crazy, man.
right.
It's crazy, Russ, because I mean, this thing I guess it originated in China, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, the whole country is America is just,
Well, the whole
you know,
world. I mean, because
I
it's
mean, yeah, I'm
Europe.
sorry, the whole
Europe, yeah,
world.
Europe is they've got a few countries that are quarantined, like Italy. Italy is a lot of it is quarantined.
Yeah, I mean, Russ, hell, I even heard Tom Hanks admitted that he had the
Yeah, he and
coronavirus.
his wife. Yeah, I heard that yesterday.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, this thing is, oh my God.
Yeah,
I mean, and you know what's crazy? Um, Nowadays, like recently, now when you find yourself sneezing or you got a little bit of the sniffles, you're like, uh oh, you know what I'm
right,
saying? What could this be?
right.
So yeah, it's definitely scary, man. So
I mean,
people out there,
go ahead.
no, I'm saying people out there, please. I mean, stay. If you ain't got to be outside, stay home and just take care of yourselves, man, because this thing is getting out of control. And I heard today that one of the prominent doctors in the country said that this thing is 10 times deadlier than the flu. It's 10 times more stronger than the flu. So I'm like, wow, okay. So, I mean, and it is obviously evidently because I mean, hundreds of people have died from this thing so far.
Right.
So, yeah, it's crazy. hmm So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's affected, uh, guys like us who love sports.
Right.
Um,
Kids. We
I
have kids that play sports and they're affected. I
right,
mean, I got friends and their kids are in their senior year. They're playing in the playoffs for basketball, and they're
exactly.
worried that this is how it's going to end for them. My daughters, they actually had a gymnastics meet tomorrow. They've been training for the last couple of weeks, and now they're disappointed because
Wow,
that's canceled. So it's like it's a lot. A lot of people dealing, a
wow,
lot of kids dealing with that, and like I said, all the way from the pros to the youth, it's shut down everything.
right, right. Yeah, it's sad, man. It's actually sad. I mean, I was thinking, well, back, as far as back to the NCAA, I was thinking the NCAA was going to go ahead and suspend the March Madness season, the March Madness tournament until at least May. But I mean, it canceled it. It downright just canceled
So
the
it's
the
not. So I
tournament.
know because the NBA says indefinitely, which that means it could come back. They
Well, yeah,
but
yeah. NBA said they're going to
yeah,
postpone
they just
theirs.
postponed it. But so the
Yeah,
NCAA March Madness is not coming back. It's done.
right. It's yes, it's canceled.
Wow. See, I thought they had done it like the NBA and just did it indefinitely until further notice. But
I mean, yeah, Russ. That's what I was hoping that they were going to do, but according to ESPN.com, everything has been canceled. Everything
wow.
from the NCAA. Yeah, the March Madness has been canceled. So this is yeah, this is bad for business, man.
Yeah.
I mean, guys like us who like to talk about sports and all that stuff, it hurts. But like I said, we understand.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
and it's really hurting the people who make their living off of sports and these events because there's a lot of workers that are affected by March Madness being canceled. That's a lot of people out of work. Not even just talking
right,
about the athletes, but the the people that work and set up all of those things behind the scenes,
Exactly.
they're not gonna get that. So, and I've seen a couple of athletes. I think Kevin Love gave a bunch of money to the Cavs for for the people who are going to be missing out on jobs because there's
Yeah.
people who
Yeah.
work those arenas, they work the games, and now they're out of work for a little while.
Yeah.
So I know Mark Cuban said he's paying all of his people as well. Not talking about the
Mhm.
athletes, but the people behind the scenes and stuff. So that's tough for them. So I mean, I hope everybody can make it through and they can get this thing behind us and move forward and everybody be safe as much as possible.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. I hope so, man. Because Lord knows one thing about America, we love our sports,
Oh
man.
yeah, oh
And,
yeah.
and if we don't have it, it is a down. I mean, Russ, honestly, can you imagine? Let's say we're 3 or 4 months into this thing and we haven't seen any live sports at all. Can you imagine what? I mean,
Right.
I mean,
And not only that, I
people
mean,
are
you got to
going
think Hollywood, entertainment. Period is about to,
right.
is
Even that,
yeah.
right?
They're
I mean, that's what
they're
I'm
already
saying. The country has
yeah
been,
they're already pushing some
yeah,
movies back. They pushed some of them back already.
yeah, the country has been literally put in a state of panic and gridlock
Big time.
because of this virus.
Yeah, big time.
Crazy, but like I said, listen, man. I hope some doctor in Bangladesh can find a cure somewhere, something like that. I don't know. Just please, somebody find a cure.
Anywhere. Yeah.
Yes, I don't give a damn if you live in Alaska
Right.
or the North Pole. Somebody find
Right.
something because we need our sports. Damn it, you know what I'm saying? Please,
Right.
good lord. I mean, hell, Russ, even the NFL. I know it's in its off season, but usually the NFL
They
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 have
canceled their
their
meetings, right?
winter. Yeah, they cancel their
Yeah.
meetings. I'm like, I mean, this thing is out of control right now,
Right.
bro.
Right.
Damn. So, man, I hope something happens, man. I hope something
Yeah.
happens.
Something will happen. Something
So,
will. It'll get better.
for the
Yeah.
better. Yeah, I hope so. You know what I'm saying?
So
So
I
yeah,
know.
man. But yeah, Russ, let's I guess let's move on. Yeah, at least we got something to talk about today, which is the last time we were on the show, we talked about uh doing our list of greatest players and the list of most overrated
Yeah.
players of all
Right.
time.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do? You want to start with the overrated players,
Now
or you want to do with
let's
the
do the
greatest players? Let's do the
I think
greatest.
we should do the overrated players last because I think that one's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
build up a lot of discussion.
That's gonna be
There's
fun.
gonna be some,
Yeah,
we usually save it for the end, but there's gonna be some ruffled feathers tonight. After we hear some of these lists, there's gonna be some ruffled feathers out there, and you know what y'all can do
yeah.
out there: pluck them,
That's right.
pluck those feathers real quick tonight because it's coming. They're gonna get ruffled. Trust me. All right.
Oh God, I
So
love
so
it.
we good.
All
We
right. Well,
doing?
I tell you what. Go ahead and do the honors,
You want
Russ.
me
You,
to
you,
start it
you go
off?
ahead and run down. Yeah, yeah. Run down your top 10 players of all time. Now, are we going in numerical order, or are we going sort of just top 10 period?
Oh, I got mine in order. I mean, they're in order. From I,
Okay.
I'm
All right.
gonna go. I'm gonna start from number 10 and go down to one. And might as
Okay.
well let me start it off and start ruffling some feathers because I know there's gonna be some people ruffled when I guess for certain names that are missing out of my top 10. But let me say this before I even start. The
Mm-hmm.
NBA has had great players since the 50s, starting in the 50s. Not
Mm-hmm.
saying it was a bunch of them, but there was a couple great ones. And one I'll think about is George Mikan, for one. It was a great player from the
Mm-hmm.
50s. And on they continued until today. We've had many great players to play the game of basketball. So
Mm-hmm.
having this list, a lot of times people get so upset and it's like you got to understand it's not easy to make this list because there's a lot of great players, and because a player doesn't make the top 10 doesn't mean that um
Yeah, he's not a great
right,
player.
exactly. Thank you. That so that
Right.
just bear in mind that's what people listening. That's you got to bear that in mind. And everybody's gonna have a
Mhm.
different list, but this is my list. So at
All
number
right.
10, I've got Elgin Baylor,
Okay.
small
Nice.
forward from the Lakers. He saved the Lakers. From
Hmm.
folding as a franchise. When he came in as a rookie,
Right.
dominant player, dominant small forward, created what people call today the Euro step. He was doing that back in the 60s. Um,
Right.
just a phenomenal. And guys like Dr. J looked up to him. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, all of them looked up to Elgin Baylor because of the things he was doing back then were amazing for that time, for his era.
Right.
So
Hmm.
definitely, arguably one of the greatest players. Number
Hmm.
9, I've got Oscar Robertson.
Okay.
The big O,
Okay.
Mister Triple double himself. Big point guard was just an amazing player. Had a jump shot. He could run the offense. He could dribble. He could rebound. He pretty much did it all at that time, and
Right.
was definitely consistent and was able to win a championship later on in his career when he moved on to his second team. But
Right. Russ, real quick, going back to your number 10 guy, Elgin Baylor. What is he was he from the DMV? Was he
yes, he
from
was.
DC?
Actually, he was. Yeah, Elgin
Oh, okay.
Elgin
All right.
Baylor.
I just
Yes, that he was definitely from DC. Um,
okay. All right.
and I
I thought I heard something about
yeah,
that, but yeah,
and
go
and it
ahead. I'm
hurts me
sorry.
to even put him at 10. It's like I think he was such a great player, but I think there were nine
Right.
others. I think Oscar Robertson was 9. At number 8, I
Hmm.
got Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. I got
Woo.
Olajuwon at number 8. The
Mm.
Dream was just, if it wasn't for Jordan in the '90s would have been owned by the Rockets and Olajuwon, in my opinion. If it wasn't for
Completely
Jordan or the
agree with you.
Bulls. So um, Olajuwon was just a dominant. He dominated through all of the great centers that were in the '90s, and there were plenty of them. There were, the David Robinsons, the Patrick Ewings, the young Shaquille
Hmm.
O'Neal. I mean, there was so many, and Olajuwon was
Yep.
just top. He was doing it since the '80s and took it into the '90s. Got a couple
Exactly.
championships. Just a great center. Yeah.
That's a good one.
So number 7, I got Tim Duncan.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I got Tim
Wow.
Duncan. Um,
Ahead
yeah, I
of
got him ahead of
Olajuwon?
Olajuwon. I
Okay.
think
All right.
Duncan is if we were going to make an underrated list, I think Duncan
Hmm.
makes that list for me because
As well. You
yeah,
make both lists.
yeah,
Is what
yeah,
you're
he
saying.
would make
Okay.
the underrated list for me because you know no Duncan is not the most flashiest player. And I'll tell a story
Right.
about Duncan. This is me. I was wrong about Tim Duncan. I remember when he played at Wake
Hmm.
Forest, and the two top players coming out that year was him and Marcus Camby. And I
Hmm.
thought Marcus Camby was. I had Marcus Camby rated higher because Marcus Camby was more of a. It was his game was more flashier, a little bit flashier than what Duncan. Duncan was basically a
Hmm.
basic. I saw it as basic, but I learned to realize that sometimes basic is that's all you need. The guy
Right.
was just consistent. He was a winner from the start. He was a winner from the start.
Right.
Helped David Robinson get some championships. Um,
Hmm.
and just continued to do it every year, consistent. I can't think of a. It's hard to think of a player as Tim Duncan was in his career.
Right.
Dependable. He carried his team on his shoulders. Just a phenomenal player all around. To me, I remember when Shaq was bullying everybody, Duncan would go toe to toe with him. You know,
Hmm.
Duncan wouldn't back
Yeah.
down at all. Him and Rodman, of course, was another one that wouldn't. But Yeah, Duncan is definitely. It's tough for me because I know how great Olajuwon is, but I got him a little bit above Olajuwon, just a little bit.
Okay.
Um, Number
All right.
6, I got Mr. Championship himself, Bill Russell. Yeah,
Wow.
I got number
Okay.
at number 6 champion. Like I said, Mr. Champion himself, Bill Russell from the Celtics. 11
11
titles, but
titles.
that's not why I got him here on the list. I mean, you know, Bill Russell could easily be number 1 on this list because not because of the championships, because championships to me is a team thing. It's a team thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Bill Russell was so good because people don't realize that, he gets credit for his rebounding skills, his defensive skills, and all of that. But people don't realize how good offensively he was. But he dumbed his offense down because, like he said, using his own words, he had offensive guys around him that could score. And he
Right.
realized that for
Right.
the
Right.
team, if he could become the best defender and he gets the rebounds and those guys can take care of points, if they're not getting points, then he could get it. But he left a lot of points on the table because he wanted to win. And that
Mm-hmm.
to me, he easily could be the greatest. I mean, in my eyes, Bill Russell
Mm-hmm.
was an amazing player. And the reason why I said people underestimate his offense is because if you look at what he was doing in college, he was dropping buckets. He could put buckets
Right.
up if he had to, but he chose to focus on where the team lacked more than stats, focusing on stats. So
Right.
I got Bill Russell at number 6. So now we about to enter the top 5.
All right.
At number 5, I've got Larry Bird.
Wow. Okay. It's starting to get interesting. Here we go.
Larry Bird. If I said, actually, my last 3 picks with Duncan, Bill Russell, and Larry Bird could easily make the underrated list. Crazy enough
Okay.
that
Yeah.
Larry Bird could make an underrated list. But
Right. That
in
is
this
true.
day and age where people forget, you know, Larry Bird was an amazing basketball player. He was a killer on the court. I mean, an
Mm-hmm.
assassin. When you talk about confidence, I don't
Sure
know if
was.
you can find another player more confident than Larry Bird was.
Right.
A killer. I
Right.
mean, all you have to do, folks, is go and Google Larry Bird or go to YouTube and search Larry Bird and search and see what
Mm-hmm.
before you watch his highlights. Watch what the players that he played against, the stories. Listen to the stories of
Mm-hmm.
Larry Bird. It's crazy. It's insane the stuff that he did on the court. I mean, the guy could rebound. The guy could play with his back to the basket.
Right.
He could play facing the basket. He was a better defender than what people give him credit for. He was just a smart
Mm-hmm.
player, great passer. Great passer.
Right.
Not to mention the shooting. Like it's not just the threes that he was doing. He was an all around great player. I mean, amazing player. In my opinion, the
Mm-hmm.
greatest Celtic ever. Ahead of Bill Russell. But
Right.
so I got Larry Bird
Right.
at 5. Coming in at number 4, I got Magic Johnson.
Wow.
I got Magic Johnson.
Okay.
Magic
Okay.
is Magic could have played, or not could have, but Magic could have. Yeah, he could have played all 5 positions and been an All Star. You know, he he
Absolutely.
he
I
played point
completely agree.
guard and he played center in the finals. When Kareem was hurt and put up crazy numbers. He's another player
Right.
that he was a point guard's point guard. I mean, he was another player that left a lot of points on the board. He could have scored a lot more. He could have averaged a lot more points, but he
Right.
was a facilitator as a point guard should be. He made sure his teammates got open and set them up perfectly, and that's why he has so many assists. But when his teammates weren't making it, he could do it. He could get it done. Magic is an
Right.
amazing basketball player, and I got him at number 4. Um, Now we in the top 3. Here we go.
Mm,
This
mm,
is the
mm,
one
mm.
that's gonna. I've probably plucked a few feathers, but I'm about to really pluck them now.
Yeah, you are. You about to
A
ruffle a
lot of
lot of
them.
them.
So number 3, I got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Ooh, okay. You know what? Honestly, um, you're not gonna ruffle too many feathers with that because that guy was
Well,
unbelievable. But go ahead. Go ahead.
absolutely. But I will ruffle feathers because there's 3 players that are usually mentioned at the top, and and Kareem
Right.
is not one of them. You know,
Right. Right.
so
Right. Uh
and
huh.
I'm only down to 2 more. So um,
Okay.
Kareem, man, the greatest shot, the most unstoppable shot ever is the skyhook. It's yeah,
Completely. Completely
it's
unstoppable.
completely unstoppable.
Yep.
And nobody else can duplicate it. There's nobody else's shot that you could give me that is unstoppable like the skyhook. I mean, he could hit it from
Mm-hmm.
deep, he could hit it from from close. It didn't matter. His
Mm-hmm.
skyhook was unstoppable,
Absolutely.
and a young Kareem was crazy good. I mean, amazing. He was dominant. He was physical,
Mm-hmm.
just athletic. I mean, an amazing basketball player, amazing center, and I got him at 3 on my list.
Yep.
Drum roll, drum roll. We down to
Okay.
number 2.
Lord,
Number
here we go.
2 on my list. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the one that's gonna get him right here. Number 2 on my list. I got Michael Jordan.
I can see them feathers
Oh yeah,
flying
yeah,
all
they
over the
going
place
crazy
now,
right
boy.
now. They going crazy. Yeah, Mike. I mean, what can I say about Mike? I mean, Mike.
Explain
Yes,
yourself,
I
sir.
will. Yeah,
Explain
Mike
yourself.
is. I mean, Mike belongs up there. He's one of the. I mean, definitely one of the greatest players we've ever seen. Um, the thing I like about Mike was when he was losing, which people don't like to talk about. When he first came into the league, it took him a while to get the Bulls to conquer those mountains that he had with the Pistons and the Celtics, Bird and the Celtics, Isaiah and the Pistons, and then finally he got to Magic and the Lakers. In fact, um, early on he had the first thing he conquered. People forget is the Cavs. Was the Cavs, which was
Yes.
a great team. If you look how deep that team was, they had a lot of good
Yes.
players on that team, and Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
conquered them early. He got them out the way. And
Mm-hmm.
I think a team like the Cavs that they had back then would be dangerous in today's day. But that's just
Absolutely.
me. But Jordan conquered them, and the thing I liked about him was he never gave up. He never gave up. I mean, I
Right.
remember when the Pistons were pounding him because they realized he didn't have the players around him to beat them because they had a better team. That's
Right.
why I said champions are won by teams, not by individuals. And a prime
Right.
example of that is Jordan early on in his career. He was probably the best player in the league at that time. Larry Bird said it
Right.
before he even entered the league when they played against him. The Olympic guys played against the college team that had like him,
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing. It was Jordan, Patrick Ewing, and a few,
Mm-hmm.
Barkley, I think, was on that team. It was a few other guys,
Mm-hmm.
and Jordan just he led the team and was dominant. They couldn't deal with him. And Bird said that after that before
Mm-hmm.
he entered the league that this kid is already the best player he had ever seen. So,
Mm-hmm.
but Bird used to beat him all the time. To the point
Yep.
where Michael Jordan, when they interviewed him about Bird retiring, he was like, thank God, like let him go, because he lost a
Right.
lot to Bird and the Celtics. He lost a lot to the Pistons, and the Pistons used to pound him, but Jordan kept coming, man. He would not quit, and he knew
Yeah.
after he kept taking those
Exactly.
poundings. The thing I respected him about was in the offseason, he said he knew he needed to get his body physically stronger. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that shows you the heart of a champion right there. He's like, all right,
That's right.
I know they're gonna do this to me, but I'm gonna get myself strong enough to be able to take it and
Right.
yes,
Fully
and
committed.
fully committed and endure it. So Mike, if you got Mike as number one on your list, I'm not gonna be mad at you. You know what I mean? Hey, I don't.
Hmm.
I got him at two, but it's not a knock on him. It's just that I feel there's one player that's better than all of the guys I just named.
Which is, I mean, you. Oh my God, I think I know what it is, but wow. Okay,
All
I'm
right.
ready.
So the one player that I got at number one, above Michael Jordan and all those guys I just named, the Kareems, Magic, Bird, Bill Russell, Duncan, Olajuwon, Oscar Robertson, Elgin Baylor, is none other than Le. No, I'm sorry, not him. Um, nobody else but Wilt
Um,
Chamberlain.
wow,
I got
Wilt
Wilt
the
the Stilt
Still.
at number one. The guy,
That
the
is, please
the
tell
guy
me.
still, first of all, holds more records than any of. I mean, you can't find another player that holds the records that Wilt still has to this day. And you want to hear
Hmm.
about stories about this guy? I mean, amazing stories about Wilt Chamberlain's career. See, there's a miss that I'm going to educate some of y'all out here on Wilt Chamberlain. Y'all think he was like Shaq of his time, or another thing I hear is that oh, Wilt was playing against little white guys. Man, that is such a lie.
Hmm.
He played against Bill
Right,
Russell. He played against better centers than they got today. You know, he played against
right.
Bill Russell. Um, um, what's the guy? Bob Lanier. You know,
Walt Frazier.
Walt
Not
Bellamy.
Walt Frazier.
That's what I was thinking about. Walt
Yeah,
Bellamy.
yeah.
He played against Kareem, a young
Hmm.
Kareem at that. You know, he played against
Hmm.
Wes Unseld. He played against those guys are not short white guys. You know,
Right,
the league was not even a white league at that time when he played. So, but anyway,
right.
people underestimate how athletic Wilt Chamberlain was for a 7'1" man. And not only was it
Hmm.
power, you see when Wilt got older in his career, he played down low a little bit more, and he could play down low and use his power. But what people don't realize
Uh-huh.
is Wilt had the most unstoppable turnaround jumper before Michael Jordan, before Dirk Nowitzki,
Hmm.
before Tim Duncan. Go and look at his. He.
Right.
What people don't realize, he was putting up those numbers, and it wasn't all from down low. He was shooting J's. He
Hmm.
had a crazy turnaround jumper, a deep jumper. There's a there's a video of
Right.
him playing around in practice when he was with the Lakers, and he's sky
Hmm.
hooking 3 pointers and swishing them from the corner, and he
Wow.
makes two in a row. And one of his teammates said, "I bet you won't make another one." And he switches the third one. It's like pay up. You know, people don't realize how
Right.
good this guy was. He was amazing, and leaping ability, power, speed. He was a track star. He was a track star. He did the high jump. When he retired from basketball, he ended up going into volleyball, and he's a
Uh-huh.
Hall of Famer in not only the basketball but also in volleyball. You know, this
Okay.
guy was just if you really study Wilt, man, Wilt was crazy. In fact, I got one more thing, and I'm gonna let you go. About
All
Wilt.
right.
Larry Brown told this story. Like you remember Larry Brown, the coach, used to coach the Sixers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the legendary
legendary coach.
coach. Yeah.
Okay, this was when Larry Brown was coaching. What was the college team he coached in California? I'm trying to think. Um,
Was it Santa Clara? No, I'm not.
Something like that.
I know it began with an
It
S.
was in the '80s
Um,
when Magic was a rookie. Magic's
oh
rookie
man.
year.
Damn, I
Yeah,
tend to
but it
forget.
was one.
Might have
I
been
think you're
Santa
right
Clara.
though.
I'm
I
not
think it
sure,
is
but
Santa
go
Clara.
ahead.
But anyway, the story they were at this school, and Will Chamberlain's
Hmm.
retired by now. He's in his 50s. You know, he's retired,
Okay.
and he's playing a pickup basketball game. Magic has his team. A lot of them were NBA players. Already on the Lakers and stuff. And Magic
Hmm.
is on that team, and Wilt is playing with the college kids on his team.
Hmm.
and Wilt's 50 something. So Magic goes into the lane. They've got game point, and Wilt blocked the shot, and Magic called goaltending, game over. And Wilt was like, "That's not
Hmm.
goaltending." And Larry Brown was like, or Wilt looked over and said, "Coach, is that goaltending?" And Larry Brown was like, "Nah, that was a good clean block." And Magic said, "I don't care. This it's game over. That was goaltending." So Wilt got upset and was like, "Let's run it back." And he said
Right.
there will be no more shots made at this basket. And he proceeded to block everything they threw, everything. This is in the
Really?
50s against a young rookie Magic Johnson and other NBA players.
And
Nah,
nobody had a
nobody
chance.
had a chance. They were still calling him in the 80s to come back. There were teams that were still trying to bring him back into the league. He was well into his 50s. They were still trying to offer him
Yeah.
contracts. The guy was just a phenom. Go and listen to what Arnold Schwarzenegger and those guys said about him. His power and it's crazy. His athleticism, his shot. You know, when I realized when I studied this game, his game was I don't see anybody that could dominate more that has ever been as dominating as Will Chamberlain. None. Not even Jordan.
That's
And
high
and,
praise
and
right there.
one more. There's this Michael Jordan and Will Chamberlain. Remember when they did the 50 greatest thing the first time or whatever? So they were at the
Yeah.
ceremony. They were at the ceremony, and Jordan and Will Chamberlain got into a little discussion debate about who was the greatest, and they're going
Right.
back and forth. And Wilt ended it like this. He said, "When you played, Mike, they changed the game for you. When I played, they changed the game because of me. They changed the rules because of me." And Mike
Right.
had no comeback
Right.
for that one. But that's like I said, they're all great to me. But that's my list. Wilt Chamberlain 1, Jordan 2, Kareem
Wow.
3, Magic 4, Bird 5, Bill Russell 6, Tim Duncan 7, Olajuwon 8, Oscar Robinson 9, Elgin Baylor 10. And I know there's some missing names, but they would come in
Wow.
my next 5 if we were to go there. So
Well, I tell you what, Russ, you definitely has uh, ruffled some feathers. I'm not gonna lie to you. You've even ruffled mine. I mean, good Lord.
so
Okay. Whew, that's deep. Your list. I like your list. I do, but I'm gonna go straight to number one. I disagree completely with that. Completely. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain. Um, he was a great player, obviously, yes. But Michael Jordan, you know what? Okay, I'll just go ahead
yeah,
and reveal what I got now. Michael Jordan is my
okay.
number one. Okay,
I kind of
on my
figured
list
that.
that I'm about to reveal. But right? But Wilt Chamberlain can't be
No,
your
he
number
is,
one,
man. I
Russ.
think you bet. I'm telling you. To me, easily he's number one. Easily he's number one. In my opinion, easily number
Wow.
one.
One. What do you
See,
have?
once
One
again,
title.
championships are made by teams, not by individuals. Not by
Russ.
individuals.
He had Jerry West,
He went up
Russ.
against the Celtics, that was a much better team. Always. It's just like this. Think about it like this.
Wow.
Think about it like this. I gave you the same scenario with Michael Jordan. When he first came in the league, he couldn't win with those. He wasn't going to beat those Celtics and Pistons teams with those guys. But he was still the best player.
Hmm.
Wilt was this in the same position. He was in the same position. It wasn't Wilt felt that if hey, give me the ball, I'll score, I'll get everything, I'll do it all. When he got older, he realized okay, I'm gonna take less. You got to realize. Do you realize Wilt Chamberlain was criticized because all they said was he scored, he scored. What the next season when they criticized him, he led the league. He's the only center ever to lead the league in assists. Go check his records. I mean, there's nobody you can
Right.
name, including Jordan, that can touch him when it comes to
Hmm.
the amount of records he still holds to this day. And this is after they've
Hmm.
opened up the league to score more points. And still
Hmm.
nobody even comes close. Nobody. Nobody on his records. There's none.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe it was 1967
Yeah, yes. Yes, when he
when he
led
led
the
the
league
league
in
in assists.
assists.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
And they
Yeah,
and
that
they
was a
and they
year. You're
won.
right. You're
They
right.
won
It
the
was
championship that year.
yes, yes. You're right about that. But however, I got to
I
disagree with that. I mean,
remember I
I
said
completely
if
disagree with
somebody
that.
has Jordan on top, I understand why they would say that. But I would just
Right.
suggest giving Wilt Chamberlain a chance. Reese, look up Wilt.
Okay. Well, I mean, I tell you what. Um, let me put it to you like this: Wilt Chamberlain is not even in my
Are
top
you
10.
kidding me? This is ridiculous. Now my feathers are plucked. Now now my feathers are ruffled. Now how could you? How you're telling me you're
He's
gonna
not in
name
my
10
top 10.
players that were better than Will Chamberlain? Oh my goodness,
Yes,
I gotta
correct,
hear this.
correct.
I'm ready.
All right, are you ready? Okay. Now, I was gonna use the format of just putting, just not name having numbers there numerically,
Right.
numerical order. But
Nah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna go ahead and
do
do
them.
what
Put
you
them in
did. I'm
order.
gonna
Put
go
them
ahead
in
and
order.
okay. So my number 10 player of all time in NBA history um, is
Okay.
Tim Duncan.
Okay.
Um, you know the big fundamentals, man. I mean, this dude, he I call him, quiet
Right.
riot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because Tim Duncan was so unassuming and so quiet and, just such a nice guy, but he would
Yes.
destroy you. Yeah, as a competitor, he was so ultra competitive. A lot of people
Competitive he
didn't know how
was.
competitive this guy,
Exactly.
because of
Remember
his
that's why I
demeanor.
said he could make my underrated list. Because I don't think he gets the credit
Right.
he deserves. Definitely.
Exactly. His demeanor was so calm and poised and focused. I mean, the guy, Russ, this dude was he was a complete ultra competitor. 3-time
Right.
Finals MVP, Rookie of the Year, 15-time NBA All Star, 15-time Defensive
Right.
First Team. You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable, 5-time NBA champion. Tim Duncan was just an all time great player. That's my number 10. My number nine. My number 9 of all time is Kobe
Okay.
Bean Bryant.
Not in my top 10.
Um, Net, right? Correct. Not in your top 10. Kobe Bryant was. You want to talk about ultra competitive? I mean, this kid was. He
Definitely.
was.
Definitely.
He was the second. He was supposedly the second coming of Michael Jordan,
There's been
and he
many of
was the
those though.
closest thing. Right, but he's been the closest one to him. You know what I mean? He's been the closest one to Michael Jordan that we've seen since Michael
Right.
retired. Uh, you know, Russ, Kobe Bryant. And honestly, I wasn't even a big Kobe Bryant
I
fan.
wasn't either, but I
I
got
never
a lot of
was.
respect for him, and him not making my top 10 is because I just don't see those guys. I don't see him being overall greater than those guys. I know people go
Okay,
crazy
well,
about it, and I can't change my opinion just because he passed away. In the thing, I got to be real and honest. I wouldn't have had him
oh
in my
yeah,
top 10
absolutely,
before that, so I'm not gonna put him in there now just because he passed. But like I said,
right,
Kobe is
absolutely,
still an all time great. If you got him in your top 10, I wouldn't argue that. I could see why people would put him there, but
right. So yeah, 5-time NBA champion, 12-time All Defensive Team. Uh, I mean, 2-time scoring champion, 2 times Finals MVP. Kobe Bryant not only just about the decorations that he has on his under his belt, but just his
Yes.
competitive nature. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this guy was an absolute basketball
Yeah.
like junkie. You know what I mean? He was a basketball junkie, and
See, it's hard for me to
um,
put him above guys that came into the league as things that took there's certain things that took Kobe years to finally get to get
mhm,
that other guys just walked in it and had it. You know what I mean? Just had it. And Kobe, I don't think nobody outworked Kobe. Kobe was probably the hardest working player of all time, in my opinion. You know,
right, right,
and like you said, he was a
right. That's
basketball
true.
junkie. He was a student of the game, all of that. I mean, so I definitely respect that pick.
Right. Um, so all right. So coming in at
Yeah.
number 8, um, I'm gonna go with Carl
Oh,
Malone.
oh my God.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not like I said. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers too. Carl Malone was he's another guy that should make an
I agree.
underrated
I agree there.
list.
I definitely agree there. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But to me, Carl Malone was
Yeah,
that
he
great of a
was.
player. Carl Malone was dominant, Russ. He was
Right.
absolutely dominant. You know what I mean? The guy averaged 25 points a game in his career, 10
You know,
rebounds.
I can't. I'm not disagreeing at all with these with what you're saying about these
Hmm.
players because everything you're saying, everything you said about Duncan, I'm with you. Everything you said about Kobe, I'm with you. Everything you're saying about Karl Malone, I agree. But when you say dominant and you start saying somebody averaged 20 something points, and I'm thinking about Wilt Chamberlain who averaged over 50 points for his career.
I know,
It's like
but Russ,
consistently
listen.
every year.
Carl Malone
You know
averaged
what I mean?
Carl Malone averaged 25 points in the Jordan, Magic, and Bird era.
and and
You know what I
and
mean?
and who was
With
gonna
You know,
stop Wilt in any of those areas? But
I
all right,
mean,
go ahead. I'm gonna let you
listen.
go with your list. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Let me go. Yeah, then we'll get
Yeah.
back to the argument on that. So Karl Malone is my number 8 on the list. Number 7 coming in is LeBron James.
Oh my God! What?
Um,
All right, I'm
LeBron
silent.
James.
I'm silent. I'm silent. Wow.
Yeah, LeBron James. I mean, like him or not, and I don't care too much for LeBron James, but I got to give credit where it's due. LeBron is an all-time great.
Oh,
He's a
definitely,
top
definitely
tenner.
is.
Um, Le, LeBron James. Um, you know, here's my knock on LeBron James: the fact that he doesn't play. He's not his competitive spirit is not always there, and that I don't
But
like
but
that.
but you got him
You
better
know what I'm
than Wilt.
saying? I know I
Wow,
do,
that's
but but that's what
unbelievable.
I'm saying. LeBron has
You
sometimes
you
he
got
has
him. You got him over
competition
Kobe
anxiety. Yes,
and Karl
I
Malone
do
and
because
Duncan.
he was his dominant. Yeah, his sheer dominance. I got him over him. Yeah, because he was an absolute dominant player. I mean, he is an absolute dominant. Everywhere he's gone, he's won everywhere, and he changes teams. You know what I'm saying? He changes an organization's outlook. Okay, so no, LeBron James is my
Him
number
by
7.
himself changes it. Okay.
Yes, it's been proven. I mean, look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look at the Miami Heat. All the teams that he's been to, he's changed the outlook of the organization,
Just
the
him.
face of it. I mean, and trust me, I don't care
Just
too much about
just
LeBron James. I
just
think
LeBron
sometimes
changed
he can be a
LeBron changed the Cavs. I'll give him that. Rookie season, he turned that team into a contender.
he
No,
said he
no, he
changed the
did. He
Cavs.
did. His rookie season,
No,
he
you're right.
changed the
He did.
Cavs. But Dwayne Wade had already won a championship with the Heat, and LeBron didn't go there by himself. Wade was there as well as Bosh. You know, so
I know, I know, I know,
I
and
kind of
that's
find that
another knock
hard,
on him.
kind of a little
That's another knock on him. But you
No,
can't
no,
deny
no.
his
I don't
dominance. You
deny his
can't.
dominance, but it's funny to say we can't deny his dominance, but then also he didn't have the. What did you say earlier about him? How does that work? Please explain that to me.
Well, I mean, he had competition anxiety early on in his career. You know what I mean? And he still kind of has it a little bit, but I don't know why.
So
Maybe
how
it's
do
a
you be dominant
psychological.
and
Uh,
all right, go ahead.
all right. Well, again, now that's my
Seven.
number.
Yep, that's number
What
seven. We
seven?
got.
Number. All right. Coming in at number 6. You're not gonna like this
Oh,
either. Ah, oh man. Okay. Wow. Should
please
I
don't
do it?
say. Okay, go ahead. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna let you. I gotta let you finish.
Steph Curry. Sorry, no, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Wow.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Not Steph Curry. Oh God. All right. Listen. Coming in at number 6 is
Okay.
Bill Russell. Bill
Wait,
Russell was
we
the
both got him
ultra.
at 6.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Bill Russell was the ultimate winner. Won at every
Yes.
level. He was very dominant. Great, 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 great defensive player. Probably one of the top 2 or 3 defensive
Right.
players of all
And Wilt
time.
was better than him
Um,
at defense.
yeah, yeah, heck of a rebounder. Heck of a rebounder. Um, Bill only averaged what 15,
I
16
think it was
points a
like
game.
closer to 18, 19,
Um,
something like that. But yeah, yeah. He could have averaged
yeah,
he could have averaged a
in
lot
his
more though.
career.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have exactly, but he wasn't the type of guy that to take all the shots and have all the accolades and fanfare. He just wanted to win, which is why I have him at number 6 as my ultra competitive winning
Right.
player. So now with
Top
that said,
5.
my
Top
number 5.
5. This is
Here's my
good.
top
This is
5.
good.
Okay, my top 5 players of all time. Number 5, Kareem
Okay.
Abdul-Jabbar. Yes, and you touched on it early in your top 10. Kareem was what, number
Yeah, I had him at
3, I
3.
think.
I got him at 3.
Okay, yeah, I got him at 5. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was he was the alpha to Wilt Chamberlain's omega.
But
You know what I mean?
Wilt beat
Will
him though. And Wilt was the only
um
one to ever block the skyhook. Just wanted to mention that. The unstoppable shot.
yeah, I mean, I understand it, but again, Russ, Wilt Chamberlain, and I honestly, I kind of disagree with you on that. I think Wilt Chamberlain played against guys at my size. A lot of
What?
them.
Wait,
I mean, there
wait,
was a
wait,
few
wait.
guys that
We're gonna
there
go
was
over
a few
that one.
big
We
guys.
gotta go over that one because that is
Yeah,
one of
no,
the
let me
greatest
finish, and then
lines
we'll go back
ever
to that.
told. I'm telling you, it is. It
No,
is.
no,
It
it's
is.
not.
You're gonna
It's
have to
not. It's
name
true.
players.
He
You're
played
gonna
against
have to
guys
name players
that used to work at the local pizza
Like Bill
market.
Russell who
Man,
just
come
made your
on,
top 10,
but
and
yeah, him
Kareem
too.
and Kareem
That was the
and
biggest man
Kareem.
he played against. Kareem played into the '80s and late
Yeah, but
'70s.
he played against Wilt
But
though.
listen, Rock. Yeah, he played, but I mean, Wilt was. I mean, listen, Wilt Chamberlain. I might put him in my overrated list. But anyway,
What?
let's go. So look, let me finish. That was my number 5, right?
You
Kareem.
got no. Yeah. 5 is Kareem.
Yeah. All right. My number 4 player of all time is Hakeem the
Okay.
Dream Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon was, to me, the most dominant center I've ever seen. The most dominant.
Very dominant
I mean,
center for sure. I'll give you that.
yes. I mean, the most dominant center. He was Russ. He was a 9-time All Defensive First Team player. Two
I don't
times
get this.
Defensive
You
Player
keep
of the
using
Year.
stats to back to hold up.
No,
You
I'm
keep
not. I'm
using
not.
stats to
I'm,
back these players, and the guy that holds the
no,
most
I'm not
stats out
using
of
that.
anybody ever.
Yeah, but he
What do you
didn't
mean he
win.
did? What do you mean he
He
didn't
didn't
win? He
win
won
much.
championships.
No, he won
Yeah,
one championship. Exactly. That's why I don't have him in my top 10. I mean,
So
he
is
was,
this a
you know,
so
he
championships are won by individuals or a team?
in basketball, more so in basketball
So
than
why
any other
couldn't
sport.
Jordan win a
Absolutely.
championship until he got a team?
Well, Jordan won a
Hmm.
championship with Scottie Pippen as his Batman to his Robin.
And who
You know
else?
what I'm saying? Scottie Pippen, but
Okay.
Horace Grant,
And
uh,
what happened when he lost
B.J.
Horace Grant?
Armstrong. When he lost Horace
No, no,
Grant,
no,
he got
no.
Dennis
Before he
Rodman.
got Dennis Rodman, what happened when he lost Horace Grant? They lost.
What do you
They
mean? I
lost
mean,
to the Orlando Magic with Horace Grant. And then Jordan said, we need to get Horace back, and they went and got Rodman. Because basketball in
right?
any team sport is won by teams.
Well, I mean, they lost to the Orlando Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals because Jordan took a
Hey,
2-year hiatus and to
hey,
play
they
baseball.
lost. They lost. And then look, they had to go and get somebody else to make sure to fill that void because it takes more than just Michael Jordan to win a championship. Teams are made of guys who you need somebody that's going to get the boards. You need somebody that's going to score, which was Jordan. You need guys to play
Mm-hmm.
defense. It doesn't take just being a player to win a championship. It takes a team to win a championship. So I don't I
Okay,
erase the because if that's the case, then Bill Russell is number one. Period. If we're gonna go by that, if we're gonna go by
I
championships and
understand that.
stats, then Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain are 1 and 2. Because
Right, I hear you, but Will Chamberlain to me was the most overrated great player
wow,
ever.
that's terrible.
Um.
Go ahead. That's terrible.
Anyway, so number three guy is Larry Bird, and I think that speaks for itself. Larry Legend was Mr. Clutch. Um, before Miss, I know everybody's gonna say Jared West
Who?
was Mr. Clutch. No, 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 no. Larry Bird was Mr. Clutch. Larry
Oh,
Bird
you
was
said
so
Jerry
clutch,
West.
man.
Oh yeah.
You needed, yeah, but Larry Bird was, I mean, just a clutch, the most unathletic great player ever. But man, he was great.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Larry, in big time game time situations against the best players, Larry Legend always rose to the occasion.
Absolutely.
Always, until he started having those back
Absolutely.
problems. I mean, Larry Bird, obviously my number three. Number two, Irvin Magic Johnson. I think it speaks for itself. I mean, the
Magic
guy
is
changed
actually
the
my
game.
all-time favorite
When I say
player.
he changed the game, yeah, he changed the culture and the outlook of the NBA.
Yep.
He saved
Him
the
and
NBA.
and don't forget about
Larry
Dr.
Bird.
J.
Yeah, yeah, Dr. J's. Yeah, he's in my
Dr.
top.
J,
Uh,
Magic, and Bird, they saved the NBA. Yeah.
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So Irvin Magic Johnson speaks for itself. I mean, he was another clutch guy, very clutch. Had eyes all over his head, can see the whole court from anywhere on the court. Precision passer, excellent leader. Um, just a great basketball player who changed the game, changed the
Absolutely.
culture of the NBA. So Magic Johnson's my number two, and obviously you know who my number one player is,
Yes.
Air
I
Jordan.
knew that.
Ma- yeah, Magic and Bird they saved the game, but Michael made the game a global icon. He changed the game. He made the game so popular. Uh, After Magic
So
and Bird saved it, he made it internationally popular. And not only because of that, but man, the dude, you want to talk about clutch and competitive. I mean, Michael Jordan was the
absolutely.
most competitive basketball player I've probably ever seen. Um, Now, I mean, Jordan, like you said, he worked hard at getting his body ready to take pound the game in and game out pounding of the NBA in the 80s and 90s, and he conquered. I mean, there's a lot of players in NBA now that got either one title or no
A lot
titles
of them.
because of
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
A
But
lot
a
of
bunch
great
of them,
players.
you know what I mean? So yes, absolutely. I mean, Karl Malone and John
Charles
Stockton,
Barkley.
Charles
Yep. Patrick
Barkley,
Ewing.
right?
Well,
Drexler and
Drexler got
right, Patrick
championships.
Ewing, Well, I mean, yeah, because
Right,
Jordan wasn't
right.
there. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, yeah, it's Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player I've ever seen. I didn't want to admit it back in the
Me
day
too.
because I hated him
I
because
never
I
rooted for
thought
Jordan, but I always knew he was great though.
yeah, right. And one day I just had to admit it to myself. You know what? God damn it, this dude is the greatest basketball player ever. I mean, he's dumb. I mean, he wasn't the biggest player. He was six
But
six, maybe
he
two
had the
hundred
heart of a
pounds, but
big
he
man
was
though.
so dominant. Yes, he had the heart of a big man, the skill set of a small guy, you know what I'm saying? And can shoot the hell out of the basketball. Had some of the all-time great post moves, fadeaway jumper. I mean, he had a repertoire of moves that he can go to just slice and dice you,
Right.
man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going with Michael Air Jordan as the greatest player ever to play the game of basketball.
I got him. I got him at number
Now
two,
I know you want to,
but
yeah, which is completely asinine. But anyway,
I think it's so disgraceful when you got a guy that could that to say that Wilt Chamberlain. How could Wilt Chamberlain be one of the most under or overrated players of all time? That is asinine. That is
well,
that
I didn't say he was. I
no,
said
no,
I
no.
could put him
That
in there. I
saying
could,
that is
but I'm not
asinine.
going
I
to.
mean, that's crazy because and then you got guys on there that in his time he destroyed them. He destroyed Bill Russell constantly. Like if you go back and listen to what players in those times said, nobody could stop Will Chamberlain. Nobody, unstoppable. No, he did
Except Bill
not.
Russell.
Bill Russell would tell you that. He never stopped him. He beat him as a team. His team was better. That's why he beat him. He beat him as a team.
Okay.
But in those
Okay.
in
All right.
those
I'll
games,
give you
it's
that.
just
I'll
like
give you that.
saying, like I said earlier, I used Jordan as the example. He was going up against the Celtics and Bird, McHale, and Parrish, and all those guys. Ainge and DJ at point guard. Those guys were he didn't have the team to beat those guys. Didn't mean that he wasn't better.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That I can't say Parrish is better than Jordan because he beat him constantly. Or I don't rank Bird higher, even though Bird is up there. But I don't rank higher. I don't rank Bird higher
Mhm.
than Michael Jordan because Bird beat him more times than Jordan beat him. You see what I mean? Like, but what I
Right. But
can
listen.
say though is this: it's the same thing with Wilt. He only had Elgin Baylor and Jerry West. It was the three of them. But when
Uh
you
huh.
look at the how stacked those Celtics teams were for that decade,
Russ. Ho. You just said he had Elgin Baylor and
Jerry
Jerry
West,
Rice. Two of the some of
Jerry
the great.
West.
One of them is the logo. The other
Wait,
one's an
wait, wait.
all-time
Are you
great. Are
kidding
you
me?
kidding
Do
me?
you see what else did he have other than that? Other than that, compared to the Celtics,
Dave
no, no,
Bing. He
no.
had Dave Bing.
Compared to the Dave Bing didn't play for them all those years. Dave Bing wasn't an all time Laker. He wasn't
No.
a Laker
But listen,
compared
Russ,
to the
with
compared to
just Wilt and those other two you mentioned should have
not
been good enough.
you're under
That's
you're under wait
three
wait
fifths
you're
of your
underestimating how
team.
great that Celtics team was. How deep they were.
Dude, they had Bob Cousy. Are you kidding me? Really?
You don't think
Bob
Bob? Wait,
Cousy?
wait. Are you saying Bob
Come
Cousy
on,
wasn't a
man.
good player?
No, he
He
was a
was.
good player,
He
but he
was a
wasn't
great.
half the
What are
athlete
you
that those
talking
guys
about?
were.
Bob Cousy was Mr. Basketball in those days. Are you serious?
Mister, come on, dog. Was my Bob Cousy was the dude that worked at the
Come on,
Hardee's
man.
down the street
This
from the
is
stadium. Come on, give me
disrespectful.
a break.
This is
Bob
disrespectful,
Cousy.
man. You sound like Stephen
Now,
A.
if you
Smith or
right,
something. I
Russ,
mean,
if
this
you
is crazy.
listen, if you say John Havlicek, fine,
Havlicek was in
I'll
the
give you that.
'70s, though.
But
Havlicek was in the
Bob
'70s. Bob
Cousy,
Cousy was an all-time great player. He's a top 50 all-time great player of all time.
so yeah, top 50. What is he,
Oh
50?
wow!
I
I
mean, come
mean,
on,
this is
dad.
crazy.
No, Bob. Listen, Bob Cousy, Bill Russell, okay, and who else was on that team?
They had what's the Tom Hydson. Their team was way deeper, man. It was way deeper than It's like let me ask you something. Why do you feel that Bob Cousy was not a great player like what I'm saying? Tell me why.
Well, because based on what my eyes told me or telling me, watching him play, and his style of
Well,
play
wait,
and
wait.
his stature,
What was
I
wrong
don't
with
think he
his
was a
style
great
of
player.
play and his stat? What was wrong with his style of play?
His style of play was tailor made for back in those days playing. I understand that, fundamentally sound and all
Are
that,
you
but
wait,
I'm
wait,
talking
wait?
about
What are
athletic.
you talking about? Like Bob Cousy? Do you realize who Bob Cousy was? Bob Cousy was
Yes,
he
he was
Bob
a player that
Bob
wasn't very athletic. That ran the
and
point
had
guard
wait. What makes you think
position.
he was unathletic?
Dog, come on, Russ. Really? Bob Cool?
You're not giving
Russ,
me
come on,
nothing. Just
man.
saying his
You know
name
that.
doesn't tell me
Listen,
nothing. You got to tell me what you mean because this guy had no look passes back then. He was doing all the fancy play. Bob Cousy was known for being a fancy player at those times, like his passes, everything, his dribbling, even. Yeah,
really?
I'm wondering.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
wondering where you're
What
getting
about
this from. Like,
what about? All right, listen. You just named Wilt Chamberlain.
mm-hmm.
All right, Jerry West. Okay, and Elgin Baylor. Those three guys are definitely in the top 50 greatest players of all time. And you're telling
And
me
so is
that
Bob. So is Bob
the
Cousy.
Boston Celtics,
Wait. What? So why did they win 11
you're
championships? Tell me. Tell me.
because they were playing against guys that are my size. That's why
You're
guys who
not
are
making any
unathletic.
sense now. You
No,
You
listen,
just
because
said they beat. Hold up.
Wilt Chamberlain played in the
They
50s,
just beat
bro.
Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, and Jerry
Wilt
West, and now
Chamberlain
you're
played.
saying they played against unathletic guys. Are you serious?
No, no, I'm talking about by and large, the league by and large was unathletic. It wasn't guys wasn't as strong and fast and big as they were back later in the 70s and
That's
late
false.
60s.
That's false. What makes you think that?
Well, because I mean, number one, all right, even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you know what I'm saying? Kareem was considered a unicorn back in the late 60s. You know what I'm saying? In 1969, when he came out of
Not
Power
because of
Memorial High
he was
School.
more athletic than everybody. It was because he was his skill set.
Yeah, his skill set, and he was a big, tall, strong, tall man. You
Wait.
know what I'm saying?
What
As
are
a
you
player.
talking about? Like when you say okay, he was big and strong. Are you trying to say that? Do you realize that George Mikan was the first big man that was allowed to play the game because at first basketball was always for the smaller athletic guys. Like the fast hold up, listen.
Russ.
Basketball
No, 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 no. No, you listen to me. No, no, no.
listen. Let me
Wait.
teach
No,
you.
no, no, listen to me. George Mikan played when they had peach baskets. Are you kidding me? Don't give me that
Peach
nonsense. That's
baskets? Are you
ridiculous.
serious?
Yes. He played in peach.
Wow, dog,
Yes.
you need
When
to
they had
really
peach
look up your
baskets.
history because you're confused. You're lost. Like
Bruh.
no, let me finish what I was saying
No.
though. Let me finish
Bruh.
what I was saying.
Go
George
ahead.
Mikan, like I was saying, I don't know what you talking about with peach baskets. This is not 1901. You know what I mean? This is not 1901.
Dude.
This is not
That,
1901.
the NBA was.
This is
All
not
right, go ahead.
1901 when it was created back in the early 18 or the late 1800s with peach baskets. Okay, so George Mikan,
It was basketball wasn't
yes,
invented
it
in the
was.
1800s. Basketball,
Man,
the national the N. I'm talking about the NBA.
no. I'm talking about
All
basketball.
right.
Period. Period.
Well, that's what. All right. If you're talking about basketball, that's what I'm saying. George Mackin played when they were
George
playing
Mikan
basketball
played in
out
the
of peach basket.
50s, bro. What are you talking about?
I know
No,
that's
they
when they
didn't
had
have
peach
peach baskets,
baskets.
man. You're tripping. You're
All right.
tripping, man. You, you're tripping.
Well, first of all, look, Russ, the fact that you have Will Chamberlain as number one overall is a
Nah,
debacle. It really
it's
is.
a sad
It's a
debacle that you
debacle.
would put a guy like LeBron or any of those guys above Will Chamberlain. That's the debacle. You obviously, it tells me that you
Okay.
obviously don't know much about his game or those guys' games back then. I mean, you
Okay.
can't.
Okay. All
I
right. I'm
see it
listening.
the way how people look at today is they're like, if you took LeBron, this is what I hear. If you took LeBron James and put him in the 50s or the 60s, he would destroy him. No, he wouldn't. Those guys were the LeBron is a benefit of all of those years. He's a benefit of ESPN and having NBA TV and all this stuff and having gyms to go to and play. These guys didn't have all those things. So if you put imagine if Will Chamberlain was doing those things back then, you put him in today's time where he could get in the weight room. Are you serious?
Oh yeah, of course. Now I understand that
I would
part.
still love to see what center from the '90s and on could mess with Will Chamberlain. Period.
All right. Well, so listen. All right. You said now. All right. Can you put Bob
Yes.
Cousy
If
there
listen,
nowadays?
if you go back and you research the times, when you watch, see, people watch those films and they're like, oh, look how they dribbled. It's because they couldn't dribble. No, it was the rules. The rules were harder on them.
I
They
know.
had to dribble. They would call carry, which they don't call today. So imagine, what if Bob Cousy could dribble today in this time with the skills that he had back then? If he could dribble today in this time, he would be no different than like a Kyrie. He'd be dribbling like that because that's how talented he was. Just hold up, listen.
Bob.
Just like after, when you got into the '70s and the rules of dribbling changed a little bit more, that's when you started getting a Pistol Pete who could do all kinds of crazy stuff with the ball at that time. And then it
Mhm,
continued to progress.
mhm.
So what I'm saying is, what Bob Cousy was doing in his time, you had to dribble to the side. You couldn't palm the ball. You couldn't carry because they would call it. Another thing is, they would call more offensive fouls than they would call defensive fouls, whereas it's flipped in this day and age. There's a lot of rules that are different than that kind of handcuffed a lot of them back then. But if you look at their
Okay.
games, their skill set, I mean, it's not like basketball has changed so much. What has been invented new? That's changed. The Euro step is not new. Like I said, Elgin Baylor was doing that in the '60s. You know what I mean? He was doing that back then in the '60s. Euro step.
Mhm,
What's different?
uh-huh.
What is new? What is new about the game today? What new shot has been created, or what new part of the game that wasn't back then? They were all doing those things. No look passes, all of those things is the same thing. It's just that it's progressed as the game has progressed, as far as like, you got more weight training, you got more, even like the 3 point shot. They didn't start counting 3 point shots until like the '80s. So
Right.
you had guys who were shooting from long distance. You watch some of them old films, they were shooting from long distance, but they were getting two for it. You know, I still don't understand how to use the excuse of, oh well, Wilt and them were playing against little guys, is false. I'm telling you, that's false. I could tell you, Bob Lanier, all those guys are not little guys. Wes Unseld, those guys are not little guys. Bill Russell is not a little guy. You can't say Bill Russell is one of the greatest defensive players of all time, but he couldn't stop Wilt. No, he could not.
He could
Who
stop
told
Will.
you
I
that?
mean,
The thing is, he
yeah. Wilt Chamberlain himself. He said Bill Russell was the most difficult player
difficult,
he
but
had to
he was
play against
killing
ever.
him. Like he used to drop 30 on him easily all the time. Trust me, Bill Russell could not stop Will Chamberlain. He could beat him as a team. The Celtics could beat the Lakers, but he never was better than Wilt as far as like one on one. No, no,
Right.
he had no answers for Wilt. None. That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact.
I tell you what, Russ. I tell you what. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna agree to disagree because I'm standing on what I'm saying. So I know you certainly are. So we'll agree to disagree. But however, at the end of the day, with all that said, that's your top 10.
Yes,
That's my top 10. Um, I think you're absolutely insane
I
for
I
putting
just I I
Wilt
think you're
Chamberlain as
uneducated
number one.
on it. I don't think you're insane. I think you're just uneducated on it. That's all.
Okay. All right. All right.
You're
We'll
ignorant
agree to
to
disagree.
other eras than I know everybody today thinks basketball started in the '90s. It began in the '90s.
Well, no,
You
I
know,
don't think. I for one don't think that. However, I will say this though. You're right. I am ignorant, but my ignorance is bliss.
maybe so, maybe so, maybe so.
All right, cuz where we going? We're going to the over. This is my. I
The
love this. I
overrated.
want to go to this one. The most overrated.
I'll do five.
Yes,
I'll do five.
you'll do five. You know what? Yeah, we'll narrow it down to five because we're running out of time here. So yeah, we'll do five each. So you can go ahead and get started.
Okay. I got James Harden. This is not in any particular order. James Harden automatically is on the list for me as as an overrated player. So overrated. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's a one trick pony. And there's nothing. All he can do is shoot and score. But I'm not talking about winning and losing either. But a lot of times, that style of play that they have over there that they've been doing is not the formula to win as a team. He just
Hmm.
shoots threes, shoots bad, takes poor shots all the time, and when it comes down to it, I've seen him lock down. I've seen Kawhi lock him down. I've seen guys lock him down in the playoffs where he's null and void because and he gives up so many points because he doesn't even play defense. So he's overrated in my opinion, big
Right.
time. But everything is
Right.
stats,
Okay.
so stats is what kills it. Even though the greatest guy
Right.
that nobody has the stats that Will Chamberlain has. but we use
Oh,
stats to
here we
say
go.
this person's the greatest. But the guy that has the most stats of
Here
all,
we go.
nobody's breaking those records. None. We're talking about like
Right.
69 to 70 something records that are never going to be broken.
Right.
But anyway,
Right.
um, I got James Harden. I got Russell Westbrook is another one. I got him on my list as
Okay.
an overrated
Wow.
player, and I think that
Hmm.
let me say this. I think those guys are talented in there, but when you got a guy, I can't rate a guy like James Harden when you don't play defense. I can't. I
Right.
can't.
And you and you know what, Russ? I'm noticing a theme here. It's mostly guys who have played in over since 2010. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
no, no. These guys are just guys I think
What I
that are
mean by that,
overrated. It's not only
well, that's what I'm saying. That's what it. And no, I listen. I agree with you. What I'm saying is that's how much the NBA has
for the
changed.
work for the worse.
You know what I mean? For the worst, right?
But
Exactly. So my
Russell
bad. Go ahead. Go
Westbrook
ahead,
is a
Russ.
little different for me though, because to me, Russell Westbrook has all the tools to
Absolutely, he
be.
does.
He is
A
a
great
great
player.
talent. I would say that, but to be on the
Right.
next level, he has all the tools to be there. And I say this because the problem with Russell Westbrook is he plays off of emotions and not his
Hmm.
head sometimes. And a lot of times when you think of the
Hmm.
greatest guys, I think about you know guys like the Bill Russells, guys like Michael Jordan, guys like Will Chamberlain, guys like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, that or Kareem, they play Olajuwon, Tim Duncan. I mean, all those guys, they play with their heads. Not only their physical talent, and it wasn't about emotions. I mean, just what Dame has done to him every time. I mean, why I put Dame above him, and I mean Damian Lillard over him all the time is because Lillard is he controls his emotions. He controls his emotions,
Hmm.
and I think if Russell Westbrook was to keep his head in the game a lot, sometimes he gets out of the game and can start playing one on one, and that's exactly what you can get in his head, and that's a problem I think for him. But other than that, he has the talent because he can play defense, and he does when he gets upset. He can lock down. I've seen him do it, but it's not consistent. His play is not consistent enough for me.
Right.
But he's very talented though. Whereas I see um, when I see Harden, I see him as a just an offensive guy. He's a scorer. He's just a scorer. And in the
Right.
'90s and beyond that, he would have been like a Craig Hodges. Bring him off the
Right.
bench and shoot threes to hit a couple threes, and then go back to the bench. That's what he would have been because he
Right.
doesn't play defense. But anyway, I can't keep going on Harden. So Harden, Russell Westbrook, that's two, and it's not in any particular order.
Hmm. Now, is that you
No, no,
going
no,
from
no, no.
five,
I'm
four,
just
three, two,
picking
one,
off.
or you
Nah, I'm
just
not giving. I'm not putting. I'm not putting them in
okay?
any.
Okay, I got
I'm
you.
not
Yeah,
putting them in any
I'll do the
particular
same thing.
order. Another
Right.
one that's overrated is Carmelo Anthony. I
Bingo.
think he's very overrated, and I like Carmelo, but Carmelo falls in between. He's not as bad as Harden, but he doesn't play. He didn't put the focus on defense, and he
Hmm.
became maybe one of the greatest scorers. I think he's a better scorer than Harden, even in my opinion. I think he's a greater scorer than what Harden was,
Hmm.
because Carmelo was an assassin. When it comes to that, but all around player, no. He didn't put the effort into the defensive side, especially early on in his career, like he should have. You know, he's playing a little bit more now that since he's gotten older, but he still to me is overrated in my opinion. Um,
Right.
so that's
Right.
three. Um, here's where it gets tricky. Um, I think Scottie Pippen is an overrated
Oh,
player.
and you know what? You know what? Wow. He was. He, I'm not gonna lie, Russ. That's actually kind of ironic because I was gonna put him in my top five, but I didn't. So, but go
For
ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
overrated. Oh, okay, okay. I was about to
Yeah.
say if you put Pippen in your top 10, all right. But Pippen is very overrated in my opinion. You know, yes, he he was. I give Pippen a lot of credit though. You know, I think he was a very good player.
Hmm.
He was a very good Robin to Jordan's Batman. You know,
Hmm.
but I think they give him a way too much credit to the point where some people think. I remember there were arguments I've heard of people saying he was better than Jordan, or that he could have done the same. He
Yeah,
could
I
have done
remember
the
that
same
nonsense.
thing if you know, if Jordan hadn't been there, and Jordan didn't win until Pippen came. All kinds of crazy, ridiculous stuff that I've heard, and I'm like, come on, are
Right.
you serious? It wasn't just Pippen coming there anyway. It's a team. You know, it was a team, and
Hmm.
Pippen learned from Jordan. Jordan didn't learn from Pippen. You know,
Hmm.
so I remember when Jordan when Pippen was really soft when he first came. They used to bully him like and Jordan would have to
Yeah.
stand up for him and all that stuff. Come on, it's like no. And another thing is his defense is a bit overrated. No, it's a bit overrated. Guys
Right.
used to drop buckets on Pippen like ridiculously. Uh, uh, Dirk Nowitzki
Yeah.
when they went to the Olympics was like a teenager and was destroying Scottie Pippen. I mean, which guy did
Hmm.
Scottie Pippen shut down? You know, I always ask people that. What great players
Yeah.
did Scottie Pippen shut down? What great small forwards? Because Bird used to drop buckets on him like it was nothing. I mean, nothing.
Right.
Dominique, name them, like all of them. Who did he stop?
Right.
But the thing is,
Nobody.
Pippen's defense, his length. The thing is, Pippen would play
Yep.
defense, unlike a Harden or a Carmelo Anthony. He played defense. He put his effort out. It's not like Pippen was a one-sided player. He was an all-around player, in my opinion. But I just think people overrate him. I think he was a really good player, and he
Right.
deserves to get accolades for what he did because he played and he was a big part of their championships they won in Chicago. But they to put
Hmm.
him in the top all-time 50, I think it's ridiculous, in my opinion. But
Right.
Pippen is on my list. That's number four. Number five. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Overrated players. LeBron James. I don't. I don't care what nobody tells me. LeBron James is in there because
Oh
and
my
don't get me
goodness.
wrong. I think LeBron is a great player. I think it
Right.
shames me to even put him with the other four because I think he's greater than all of those guys, way greater. You know,
Right.
but as far as being overrated, he's overrated.
Hmm.
You know, he's not what they when all I hear is the same argument all the time. Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe. Like those are the top three players of all time, and there's nobody else matters. Um,
Well, first of all, I completely object to that because I wouldn't even put LeBron in the same breath as Michael
right,
Jordan,
and
first
that's
and
why I say
foremost.
he's over. That's the reason why I say he's overrated. When you got a guy, he didn't even make my
Right.
top 10.
Hmm.
And I got
Wow.
Jordan at two. So how could I even listen? How could he not be overrated? In my opinion, when people are saying he's
Right.
greater than Jordan, he's the greatest player. You know that to me that's crazy.
Right.
When LeBron lacks what that sometimes he lacks that killer instinct. You know, he's lacked it in his career. He's gained it though. I give him credit though. He's gotten better. He's definitely gotten
Right.
better. He's not the player he was when he first came in the league, but we've seen a lot of quit in him. It's happened. I don't ever remember. You know, let me just say this. I can't ever remember anybody saying Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson were quitters. Nobody would say
Never.
that.
Ever. Ever. Dude, not even Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley wasn't a quitter.
Thank
I mean,
you.
Charles Barkley is
Charles
one of the greatest
Barkley
players
is
of all time.
is an
You know what I'm
underrated
saying?
player, in my opinion. Underrated.
Right. Right. We yeah, we and you know what, next time, Russ, we get back on the show, we have to do our
Oh,
underrated
absolutely.
players. We
And
have to.
I know who number one on my list
So
is
yeah.
now.
Right.
Will Chamberlain,
Right.
which is crazy.
Oh
How can he
Lord.
make the underrated list? But all right. But
Right. That is crazy.
um, yeah, I think that some of the things that have been said about LeBron you couldn't even say it with a straight face about Michael Jordan
Hmm.
and some of these other players. You know, he's scared to take a last shot. I mean, nobody would even. You know what I mean? Who could you have you ever heard anybody say that about any of Bird, Magic, any of those guys? Jordan, Kareem,
Not at all.
afraid to
Not at
take the
all.
last shot. Tim
Never.
Duncan, Elijah Wan, any of them. You know that nobody would say those
Right.
things. There's got to be some. This where there's smoke, there's fire. You know. Um, and
Right.
there's questions about LeBron's game. You know, people. You know, Patrick Beverly recently, like within the last week,
Right.
came out and said it's not difficult to cover LeBron.
Wow.
You didn't? You heard that right?
Wow. Yeah, I did hear that.
Now
I
I'm gonna
did.
go back. Is there ever been a player to come out and say that Michael Jordan was easy to cover?
Yeah, one. John Starks, remember? John Starks said that. But guess what
He got
happened after he said
destroyed. I
that?
mean, always was destroyed. You know what I mean? But
Right.
but
Right.
Beverly's not the only one that has said that about LeBron. You see what I mean?
I hear you.
You've got multiple
Right.
players that
Hmm.
say, "Oh, he's a one trick pony. He only has one part of his game." Even Jordan said, "I would, you know,
Hmm.
he only goes to the left." I remember when Jordan said that. You know, play
Right.
him to make him go right or something. Well, anyway,
Hmm.
I'm just saying I can't put him up there with the guys that I got up in my top 10 because none of them have
Hmm.
those issues. You know, they don't have those issues. Nobody was like, "Oh yeah, Bird was an easy cover." Magic, oh yeah,
Right.
it was easy to cover
Right.
Magic. You know, Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. No, those guys are easy to cover.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You're
So
right. I
I
mean,
just think he's overrated, but I think
so
he is. I give him all the props for what he is, though, not for what a lot of people go nuts and rate him as. You know, the people just go crazy. It's like knee jerk reactions, and they make these arguments that LeBron is is greater than Jordan or he's greater than Kobe. I don't think he's greater than Kobe in my opinion. I think
right.
Kobe was like the last of one of the old school mentality guys. You know, the guy that I see that has that mentality now is Kawhi. Kawhi
Right.
Leonard has that mentality.
I agree.
You know, he has that
I
mentality
agree.
all around player. He plays both ends of the court, which is something that people don't do anymore. You know, that's why a guy like
Yeah.
Kawhi stands out. You know, when you get a guy like that, they stand out in this day and age. You know, Duncan, people say his game was boring, it was old school, but he was still the best in his time, in his era, you know, when he played. So it's like,
Hmm.
and those guys play like the older players,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So that's my five.
Wow. Okay. Well, honestly, I only disagree with one of them, which
Right.
is LeBron James. I don't think he's overrated,
But
but
remember,
again, that's why we
I said
have
he's
this
overrated
show.
because of them rating him higher than putting him up there with
Right.
Jordan and being the best. Some people feel he's the greatest player of all time. To me, that's
Right.
over.
And then
You can't get
that's
more overrated than that. That's my
Yeah,
that.
that is
That's
yeah.
why he
You
makes my
can't yeah.
list. That's
First
the
of
only
all,
reason why he makes my list.
whoever says whoever fan that says he's
A
the
lot of
greatest
them
player of
do.
all time should be no, but that's what I'm saying. So they should be heavily sedated and immediately institutionalized. Straight up. Because something
But
is mentally wrong with them. Anyway,
no. Go ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Russ.
That's the arguments you hear a lot today. So I get. That's why I put him on my
Right.
list.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and run through mine fairly quickly here. My number five all time all time most overrated player of all time is number five. I'll go Ralph Sampson. Um, Big Ralph was he was supposed to be this phenom prep star coming out of high school. Goes to University of Virginia. Um, you know, gets upset by Chaminade. Okay, in the NCAA
Yep.
championship game. Um, Ralph Simpson was the atypical NBA basketball player, 7 foot 4 inches tall, went to a big time school. You know what I'm saying? Got drafted in the NBA, number one overall. Came to the Houston Rockets, played with
Yep.
Hakeem Olajuwon, and was a footnote on that team. He wasn't. I mean, he bounced around to the Golden State Warriors, Sacramento Kings. Last season played was in 1991 with the
Right.
Washington Bullets. Um, average Russ. This guy was seven
Yep.
foot four. Russ, a top 2 or 3 draft pick, and averaged only 15 points a game in
Right.
his career. I mean, that's 8 rebounds. You know
But
what I
let me
mean?
ask
Like,
you this
come on,
though:
dude.
who rates Ralph Sampson?
Well, I'm going on based on
I
the hype that
I
he
would say
came
he's a
into the league with.
bust for sure.
Well, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I should. You know what? Yeah, he. I would put him in an under overrated category, but I even think that
I
you're
think
right.
he was a
He is a
bust
bust.
compared to the hype. Yeah.
Um, yeah, exactly. So that's a good one. I'm glad you corrected me on that one. Number four. I. You know what?
Who can say it?
Oh my God. All right. Number four overrated player of all time is Scottie Pippen.
Oh, so you did
I
you
put him
did
in
put him
there.
in
I
there.
put him in
Okay.
there. Yeah, yeah. And Russ, you stole my thunder. I agree with everything you said. I mean, everybody's giving Scottie Pippen praise. Well, he made it to the playoffs when Mike went to play basketball. Dude, Scottie Pippen
Yeah, he
was a
was.
crybaby. Okay, I
And
mean,
speaking
come on,
speaking of
man.
that, in the playoffs when he sat out the last play of the game
Yes, remember
because
that?
Phil Jackson called the play to go to Kukoc, and he pouted and sat on the
Yeah,
bench
right.
and didn't go in, didn't check back in.
Yes.
Come on, man. It's like, yeah,
I mean, come
yeah.
on. I'm sorry. Okay. If listen, put it this way, Russ. If Michael Jordan is not on that team for let's say 5 more years, do you think the Bulls even make the playoffs?
I think they would make the playoffs because they still had talent.
Yeah, but I'm saying at the very
Right,
low
yeah, not
seed.
like
Am
how
I
they were
right?
making it before. No, they would make the playoffs because they were still had talent on the team.
Yeah, they had enough talent to make a 7 seed, an
Yeah,
eight
they were
seed.
still a
You know what I
contender, but
mean?
not a guaranteed
Not yeah,
championship. No,
exactly. So Scottie Pippen is my
he wasn't the leader
number
that
four.
Jordan was.
Number
He wasn't that guy.
no, not at all. No, it wasn't that guy. Number three, I'm gonna go with Carmelo
Okay,
Anthony. Um, Melo, although I liked him coming out of college, Melo just when he came to the league, Russ, he just proved to me that he's he all I mean, to me, he was a one trick
yeah,
pony.
for early on,
You know
and
what I'm saying?
and it was like, yeah, I mean, he was a one trick pony. He that offense was unstoppable. His offense was unstoppable if he
Yeah,
just put the effort out on defense. Just effort.
right.
That's the problem. He didn't even try. He didn't care
Yeah,
about
there was no
defense. Yeah,
effort.
he didn't care
You
about
know what I'm saying?
defense.
Put it this way, Carmelo Anthony had a moniker, and that was the ball stopper. I mean,
Right.
that's all you need to know. whenever the ball gets in his hand, the
Right.
rotation stops. Meaning that if I'm passing it to Russ, if Russ is passing it to Arnold, Arnold's passing it to Francis, and then Carmelo, if Francis goes to Carmelo and passes it to him, the
It's
ball
not
stopping
moving
in
after that.
Carmelo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, he's the ball stopper. He's number 3 on my list. Number 2, I'm gonna go with Kyrie Irving. Man.
Wow.
I think Kyrie Irving's overrated.
You know
Yes,
what
I think
though?
he's overrated. I do.
I kind of see where you're coming from, but I don't know. Maybe his skill set keeps me from putting him on my list, but I kind of see that. As far as like people rating him, because like KD said he was better than AI, and I was like, okay, that's overrating. You're
Right.
overrating him.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
you're overrating him.
Absolutely
Yeah.
insane. Right. He'll never be
No,
Allen,
no,
like Allen
never,
Iverson,
never,
ever.
never.
You know what
And
I'm
and
saying?
he's not
You know,
even he's not even the leader that LeBron is. He's not even LeBron James. Like, yeah, he's not.
no, he's
Nah.
not. He's not a leader. I mean, Russ, the dude pouts and
Yeah.
complains all the time. You know what I mean? It's listen. I'm not taking anything away from Kyrie Irving's skill set
He's a
because the
monster.
boy is a.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's just very talented. You know what I mean? Very talented. You know, but as a leader and as a competitor, I mean, he didn't do anything with Cleveland when
Exactly.
when
Exactly.
LeBron wasn't there.
Exactly.
It's in Boston, same thing. I
And
mean,
Boston,
when
he had
Boston left,
talent
they
around him.
started. When he left,
He
Boston
had all kinds
got
of
better.
talent around him in Boston. That's the crazy thing.
Right. He had all kinds of talent and couldn't maximize that team's abilities to make it to the final. And when he left,
Yeah.
they got better. So yes, Kyrie Irving, my number 2 overall.
You know what? You know what he is. Yeah.
Overrated player.
I mean, I'm thinking about it more. He is a little bit overrated. Yeah. He is a little bit overrated.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not taking
But
anything away from his skill
where
set
they put
because he
him, they
has.
rate him. Yeah. I'll say that.
Yeah, yeah. So, and obviously, Russ, my number 1 is James Harden. I can't stand. I call him James hardly plays defense, or I call him James.
Does he do anything other than shoot? I mean, he just plays
No, he
offense.
doesn't. I call him James or James Softon because he is. Oh my God, Russ, this dude is such a fraud. He's such a front runner. Oh my God, man,
Let me
it
ask you
makes me
this:
sick.
Who's better, Will Chamberlain or James Harden?
I'm sorry,
Okay, all right.
Will
Thank you,
Chamberlain's
thank
better.
you.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
he's better than Harden. All right.
Yes, Will. You don't even belong in the
Okay,
same
all right.
category as Will. I'm sorry. Okay? James Harden is so overrated, dog. Oh my God, Russ. All this dude. Did you see? He said something about Giannis
Yeah, he's.
Antetokounmpo the other day.
I should have mentioned him when I talked about Kawhi and him. He's another one. He's another throwback player. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And
I
James Harden
saw
had
that.
the nerve to say,
Yeah,
"You
ridiculous,
saw that, right?"
ridiculous.
And first of all, Russ, I don't like James Harden in the first place. But when he said that, it angered me even more.
Right,
You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right. Yeah, that. Yeah,
You know what I mean? This dude who has no business talking about a guy who basically is the
right,
MVP of the league right now,
right.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's talking about, oh yeah, he's tall and lanky. All you gotta do is dunk the ball. I'm like, really, James? Are you serious?
See that
Are you
that
serious,
that
James?
kind.
Oh yeah, I gotta. For me, I have to work on my skill set and actually, practice and get better. Dude, stop it. Come on, James. All you do is dribble down a court. Once you get past half court, you dribble, 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 travel
Right.
backwards, and shoot a wide.
Travel
I mean, come
backwards.
on, dog. You know what I'm saying? It's
And
ridiculous, Russ. I swear,
the
I can't
crazy thing
stand
is,
that dude,
people
man.
talk about his step back jumper. Man, guys were doing that. This is not new. There's nothing new about a step back jumper.
Right,
Bird was. I could show you highlights
right.
of Bird doing that back in the days. Constantly doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And wasn't
I mean, come
traveling.
on, man. No, it wasn't. They wasn't traveling. They weren't. They were actually,
Right.
being fundamentally sound. You know. This dude travels like I don't know what, and then when he's done when he makes a shot, he gets into this, starts talking junk and stirring his pot or
Right.
whatever the hell he does. Listen, man, he is the most, to me, James Harden is the most overrated player in the history of the
I
Basketball
think I agree
Association.
with you there. I got him at number one too. I can't think of anybody else that
Right.
was more overrated than James Harden.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, yes. I mean, this guy, Russ, nowadays people are saying, oh man, this guy, he's a top
Are
15
you
player of all
kidding
time. Are
me?
you
No
kidding me?
way. And people say I've heard people
What?
like ask questions like, who's a better scorer, Michael Jordan or James Harden, or Kobe Bryant or
Right.
James
Yes,
Harden, or
Russ, I
and
hear
I'm
that.
like, are they
I hear
serious?
that.
You know what I mean? It's not
I mean,
about
this,
scoring. It's when do you score? When,
yes, thank you.
when,
Exactly.
when are you
When are you
scoring?
scoring?
That's the key.
Not
Right.
just volume shooting. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That's why I call it ghost stats. And look, I'm gonna revert back to, you know, Kirk Cousins here for a second. Everybody's talking about, oh yeah, he puts up
How'd
these
you get to
numbers.
Kirk Cousins, man?
I had to get my
Wow, he
Kirk
brought
moment
Kirk
in there
Cousins
for a
into the
second.
conversation. All right.
Well, that's what. Well, the reason why I do it, because listen, he puts up all these
Yeah.
numbers. I call them ghost
Yeah.
numbers, okay? Because they're numbers that you really don't. They don't have any substance
Facts.
behind it. You know what I mean? Like his numbers, he doesn't have When I say substance, meaning like just like what you just referred to, Russ. The time
Right.
he puts up those numbers.
Pressure
You know what
bust
I mean?
pipes, man.
He doesn't do that.
Pressure bust pipes.
Bingo, exactly. And the same thing with James Harden. James Harden, I mean, I number James Harden folds up. I mean, he as much as he's shoots and plays, I guess hard on the offensive end. When the postseason gets here, Russ, it's he. I mean, he
Right.
shrinks. I mean, he shrinks. I remember last year, or the year before. I remember a couple of years ago when this dude
Right.
refused to shoot the ball.
I
I don't know. He's
yeah, go ahead.
after the
No, go
game.
ahead.
Yeah, no. Remember after the game, he was like, "I don't know why I didn't shoot the ball, but it'll change next game." And the next game, he did the same thing. Listen, I'm done with James Harden. I call him James Hardly. Can't play anything. Can't play no defense. Um.
I,
So, yeah, that's my top five. He's the most overrated basketball
I
player I've
agree.
ever seen in
I
my
got him
life.
too. I got him at one. He's definitely the most. I didn't rank mine,
Yeah,
but he definitely. Remember, he was the first one I named. I mean, James Harden. That
yeah, yeah. And Russ, it just drives me nuts when people be like, "Oh yeah, he's as good a scorer as
no, he
Michael
wasn't.
Jordan." Oh my, I want to
No,
just
no, he wasn't.
explode, bro. Golly,
Like I said, the
Jesus
difference
Christ, man.
between him and Carmelo is Carmelo was more clutch than James Harden. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Carmelo
He
had
was.
some.
He was.
He wasn't a. Yeah,
He
he
has some
wasn't
moments.
afraid
Yes,
to
yeah,
put it up at the in big moments. He could make plays. I mean, he could make plays. That was not his issue.
exactly.
It's different. It's just that he didn't play defense. He didn't do it all. He didn't maximize his talents. I don't think, and I don't think James Harden
Right.
maximizes it. But James Harden doesn't care and thinks he's the best. You know,
Yeah, exactly. He
he
thinks he's
has
the best.
lazy moments on defense. Like he cares less about defense and can't figure out why they can't win as a
Right.
team because you're the leader and that's what you put out there. You know,
Yep. Absolutely, man.
and
Yep. But man, look, cuz this has been fun, bro. I swear.
this has very been eye opening. I mean, just get ready. I'm about to send you some Wilt Chamberlain videos. You gonna learn today.
Oh my
You gonna
god.
learn today.
Oh my god.
I'm
Jesus
gonna send.
Christ, bro.
I'm
Send me some real team. What? Were you gonna send me some grainy
Nah,
videos
it's
from the
not grainy. You'll
'60s?
see. You'll see.
Okay. What are you gonna
Nah,
send me
I'm not
stats?
gonna send
Okay.
no
I
stats.
got you.
But
All right.
when people rank stats, they use stats to talk about the greatness of somebody. I find it just weird that the guy that holds all the stats doesn't get mentioned.
I mean, again, those are just stats.
Wow, wow. Greatest player of all time. Will the still.
Will the still, which is a debacle because I mean you got him over, Michael, the greatest player of all time, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, which is it's
I'm
asinine to
not the
me.
only
But hey,
one that
everybody
doesn't
has
that
their
like. There's been many players that feel the same way. Not about Wilt thing. I'm just saying that Jordan is not the greatest. Like there's been guys like John Sally. They don't put Jordan in their top five. Dr. J didn't put Jordan in his top five. A lot of
wait.
yeah, he didn't
John
put Jordan in
Sally?
his top five. Yeah, he played
Didn't
with
he
the
play for the
Pistons.
Pistons? Exactly. That's my
Oh
point.
come on, the guy can have his opinion. You know, he played
That's my point. Dude played
he
for the
played
Pistons,
against
and it was
Jordan,
Jordan.
and he felt that
Right.
Jordan was not in his top five. He said Jordan was one of the greatest.
No, he
He just said that he
he,
wasn't in the top five.
he felt Jordan's dominance, and
So
he's
so Dr.
hating.
J's
That's
hating
what the
too.
situation is. Dr. J, yeah, Dr. J's hating because everybody's saying he's better than Dr. J, and Jordan himself said he learned from Dr. J. So
So
yeah,
if
Dr.
so if
J's hating.
anybody says that
Absolutely.
Jordan is not in the top five or Jordan is not the greatest, then they're hating. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's
All
exactly what
right,
I'm
I
saying,
got you.
Cuzzo.
And I guess I could go the same way. If Wilt Chamberlain's not in your top 10, you're hating. You're a hater. You're a hater.
Okay. Like I said,
To
we'll
disagree,
agree
for
to
real.
disagree. Oh shit! Oh my god, Russ, man, it's been fun, man.
Yeah.
Listen, we
So
got to
what we
get
gonna
back
do
at it
the next
again
one? Oh,
here soon.
we're gonna really do the underrated too.
Yes, we got to do that next. We have to because I got some, I got some guys, man,
Need to be
that
mentioned.
nobody really talked about. Give
I got
credit
some
to.
too. I got a lot
Yes,
of them actually.
yeah, me too. I got a lot. It's a lot. Trust me. It might be a top 20 list, really, because I got a hell of a lot. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, we'll
Yeah,
narrow
let's
it
do
down to
10. Let's
10,
do
but
10. Let's do
man, I
10.
guess we'll get. Yeah, we'll do 10, and maybe we can get a couple of honorable mentions in
Yeah.
there
But
too.
we'll stick with 10, and then like we'll end up discussing other players too. I'm sure.
Well, let me just say this now. In my honorable mention will be Will Chamberlain.
Hey, I would respect that if you got Wilt as honorable mention as far as underrated players. Okay, because I think he is underrated, big time.
Okay,
When you don't
all right,
mention that
bet.
guy's name and you talk about the greatest, it's definitely underrated.
All right. All right, Russ, man. Look, so we'll get back at it. Let's see if we can get it in the next
Yeah,
couple of
let's do
days
that.
here. You
Let's
know what
do
I'm
that.
saying?
What else we gonna discuss? We gotta. I mean, it's hardly any.
Well, I mean, if we don't have
There's
nothing else,
no
right?
more
We don't have
sports to
nothing to
discuss,
discuss.
man. We're gonna be doing top 10 greatest
Top 10 for
quarterbacks.
the next month, right? Greatest quarterbacks of all time
Right,
next week. Week after that, greatest
right.
running backs of all time.
No sports, man. It's crazy.
It's insane, bro. All right, well, we'll play it by ear and see what happens in the next couple of days, man.
All
We
right,
got to get back
let's
on
do
that. All
that.
right. All right, dog. So I'll folks. By the way, thanks for tuning in. Will and Russ Sports Podcast. Please tune in next week. Well, or I'm sorry, the next month we'll be doing a bunch of top fives and the top tens because there's no more sports for
Right.
about a month or so. So hopefully that changes here in the next few weeks. But until then, thanks for tuning in. We love you guys, and I know for a fact that me and my cuz ruffled some
Absolutely.
feathers today. And Cuzzo, you know what? We always tell them if we did,
Lock
what are
'em.
you gonna